okay? There's not as much research and development or value-added things such as after-sales service that goes on here as well. But before we start the TED Talk, I just wanted to preface it with you guys I just printed off a really basic mind map chart, and this looks like something that kids would do at an earlier stage in their education, but it's helpful for this particular activity because I'd like you to list some of your interests, what you're most interested in. It could be history of subject, it could be movies, it could be video games. Food, it could be food. These are your interests, and the one in the center will be the one you are most interested in. Part of what we need to do is seize our interests, be decisive, right? One of the problems that I have is that I'm not decisive enough, and this is something that everyone goes through. And if we're not decisive, how can we have a plan to really work with anything, right? There's a famous professor and psychologist that I listen to, and one of the things that he tells people to do is clean up their room. And he doesn't always mean that in a literal sense, although sometimes he does. He means it in a mental sense, okay? It's identifying the things you really have an interest in, and then trying to pursue your interest somehow and being successful in doing that. So oftentimes people will be, and I do the same thing, we make excuses for ourselves, right? It's a constant negotiation in our own mind, especially the older you get, you'll find this happens more and more. I'll think, I'm really, really tired right now. If I just take a nap for 30 minutes before I get my work done, I think I'll be more productive after. But does that really happen that way? No, right? We know ourselves better than anyone else, right? So we have to be aware of how we try and trick ourselves, how we negotiate with ourselves. So one of the things that he recommended is read for 5 minutes a day on a subject we don't know anything about. It doesn't have to be even related to school. Just read the news for 5 minutes a day. Read about a business-related topic for 5 minutes a day, because over the course of the year, that will be a really long time that we have read, right? It will be many minutes, not just a few. So,
can it be like a person?
A person? A topic. So,
does it have to be like very specific?
It doesn't have to be specific. Who has experience in business, as someone who has experience as a student, right? Obviously, it's so difficult for me because I have so many interests, and a lot of you probably do as well. Which one should I choose? Which path should I go down? All right.
The one we like the most fish.
Yes.
The series, the thing that they
So it could be it could be Japanese culture. You could have a keen interest in Japanese culture, like Death Note, right? Is Japanese culture, which has extended into American culture as well, albeit it's not done nearly as well. So it's like Shudder, Thai culture. Are you familiar with that horror film?
I watched it.
It actually was ported over to the United States quite a few years ago. And then there was another film, The Departed, which was a Hong Kong film, which was then remade in Hollywood in America. And it actually annoyed me because people are like, oh my gosh, this film is so great, it's so original. And it was almost completely the same as the Hong Kong version. I'm like, but it was just remade. It was ported over to the American market, and it won a bunch of awards, and no one realized that. So, pets, absolutely.
How about like if I love my dog? So do I write it there or?
If you love dogs, that could be maybe not as specific as your dog particularly, but it could actually lead to something else.